Is Mike Johnson the most conservative politician in America? No, he's not. Because I think we would have to give that title right now to Xi Jinping. The Chinese communist dictator came to visit California, specifically came to visit San Francisco. And Chairman Xi, with his very brief visit to San Francisco, has done more to clean up that city than any politicians, liberal or conservative in other parts of America, seem to have done in decades. San Francisco, absolute disaster, druggies, criminals on the street, shooting up, dying of exposure, breaking into cars, wealthy people fleeing the city, burglaries, vandalism, all that. Xi shows up, and right before he gets there, all the bums are gone, the crime is cleaned up, all of the broken windows, they're all fixed, and you could basically eat off the sidewalks. Very, very impressive. Some conservative commentators were dismayed at the pictures from Xi's visit. And I understand why, because the streets of San Francisco look like they're the streets of Beijing. There are just Chinese red flags everywhere, and it's a little spooky. I don't think we want to become a vassal state of China. And I don't want to. I don't want it to seem like I'm singing Xi's praises. Just because the Chinese communists are better than American liberals at many, many things, that's damning with faint praise, okay? I'm not saying that's ideal. But there are even some conservative commentators who say, look at these images from the streets of San Francisco and get ready. That's what America is going to look like soon enough. And the fact is, they're basically right about that. It sounds like one of those hyperbolic conspiracy theorists, fear-mongering catastrophist lines. Pretty soon, we're going to just turn into communist China and Chairman Xi is going to be ruling us with an iron fist. But what is going to happen? What's going to happen? At the present trajectory of American decline and Chinese ascent, two things can happen. The most likely thing is that we're going to have a global war, because most of the time, as the Harvard political scientist Graham Allison has showed, when rising powers confront great powers, 3/4 of the time in recent history, that has led to a major conflict, a war. So likely that's what's going to happen. And then the question is, can the United States win a war right now? Can we fight a war? I'm not convinced that we can. We're extremely divided. The libs have turned our military into a critical race theory, sexual identity struggle session. So I don't know that that's a great idea. The American people are extraordinarily divided even on basic first principles, and we're bogged down in all sorts of wars of empire around the world that don't directly affect our vital national interests. So if some of our vital interests were threatened, say by a rising China, we would probably be scrambling to do anything about it. Also, our military was degraded over 8 years of Barack Obama and certainly neglect under Joe Biden. So that's probably the first thing that would happen. But then even, let's say we somehow avoid war, or the war turns out fine in the end. What will happen is, if China manages to keep on its path, and if America doesn't reverse the decline that decadence and liberalism have put us in, then China will be a global power. We'll have first a multipolar world with the United States and China as two of the great powers. And then, empires are born and they rise and they fall. If America, we hope it doesn't happen, but if America does really decline, then we will be subject to the same kind of cultural imperialism that we have subjected the rest of the world to. And that's not good. We don't want that. I don't want red Chinese flags anywhere in the United States, other than for a few days to clean up the city of San Francisco. But that's not something I look forward to. Well, if that's not something you look forward to, if you don't look forward to decline, if you don't look forward to cultural imperialism and outright invasion when you don't have any borders, then you have to support an agenda that will make America great again. Then you have to support an agenda not just of small government, not just of global liberalism and running every single country around the world. You have to support an agenda that is specifically oriented toward national greatness in the United States. And very few people seem willing to do that. Right now, go to goodranchers.com, use promo code Knowles. There's a lot at stake this November. So don't be chicken and shop at the grocery store like usual. Instead, you should see food. No, that one, I added that one in there. Go get Good Ranchers. It's great. It's even better than my meat puns. Head on over and do not miss their Black Friday Your Way sale, which is now live. This November, get your favorite meat free for a year. That's right, 1 year of free steak, salmon, chicken, or bacon when you subscribe to any box right now. Better yet, when you subscribe to any box on goodranchers.com, you not only get a free gift of meat up to $480, you also get $15 off with code Knowles. I don't know how they do it. The meat is exceptionally high quality. I've never seen anything like it. I love it. I eat it multiple times a week when I can, if I'm not being sent on the road and kept away from my Good Ranchers. I don't know how they keep the prices so low. I don't know how the meat is all American meat. I don't know how they're giving you free meat for a year. I don't know how any of their finances work, but their financial confusion is your benefit. Go get it right now. I could not possibly recommend Good Ranchers highly enough. Go to goodranchers.com, use code Knowles. Your free meat, $15 off. Number one place to get all American beef, pork, chicken, and seafood. Promo code Knowles, K-N-W-L-E-S, goodranchers.com. Good Ranchers, American meat delivered. Right now, go to metashare.com/Michael. As a Daily Wire listener, you are not just informed, you are engaged and handsome and pretty. You value freedom and personal responsibility. That's why you need to check out Metashare. Metashare is a community-based approach to healthcare that lines up with what you believe in. Your views matter, and Metashare allows you to take your healthcare dollars and not use them for medical procedures that don't line up with your beliefs. Metashare is the highest-rated healthcare sharing ministry with a 30-year proven track record. It's not health insurance. It's a community of 400,000 believers committed to caring and sharing with one another. Members save up to 50% or more on their monthly healthcare costs, and member satisfaction surveys show that they like Metashare much more than health insurance. Why? Because it works. For a limited time, Daily Wire listeners will receive a $150 gift card when they join Metashare. To find out more, go to metashare.com/Michael, M-I-C-H-A-E-L. That is Metashare, M-E-D-I, share.com/Michael. Terms and conditions apply. Here's a story that might tickle the conspiracy theorists among you. You know, those awful, crazy conspiracy theorists who are usually almost always right about everything in the last few years. We say the difference between a conspiracy theory and the truth is 6 months. But the conspiracy theorists and the religious people and the conservatives and Pope Francis has just signed off on a new document, an official document from the Vatican, reaffirming that Catholics cannot be Freemasons. What? Why can't Catholics be Freemasons? Wait, hold on. Pope Francis, he's supposed to be a big lib and a kumbaya, and some people accuse him of being a Freemason. What do you mean Catholics can't be Freemasons? Hold on, the Freemasons are still around? I know there's some old secret society that I heard about in some movies, but they're that real? And why does the Vatican even care about this? There are all sorts of reasons. The Freemasons are a real group. It's not just something that comes out of conspiracy theory YouTube videos. The Freemasons have largely been opposed to the Catholic Church in particular over the centuries. That part is true. There are lots of conspiracy theories about the Freemasons. Some of those conspiracy theories are true. Some of them seem somewhat dubious to me. But the reason that Pope Francis is reaffirming the consistent and traditional Catholic teaching that Catholics can't be Freemasons is much more basic, and it's a lesson for all of us, no matter what you think your religion or political views are. The basic reason that Catholics can't be Freemasons is because Freemasonry is a sort of religion unto itself. That's the most basic reason. Freemasonry has its own particular conception of God. Freemasonry has its own particular rites and rituals. It even has burial rites. Freemasonry has its own particular conception of mankind and his role in the cosmos vis-a-vis God, whether the Freemasons would call God God or use a different term to refer to God. It's just a different religion. And you cannot simultaneously be a member of two contrary religions. You cannot simultaneously believe contradictory things. You cannot simultaneously serve two gods. You can't do it. I mean, this has been true since the origin, the advent of Christianity. And in fact, since the advent of faith in the Old Testament, since Abraham comes around and says, "No, we're going to give up all that pagan stuff because the true God, my God, has told me that he is the one true God and he's greater than all the other gods." You can't do it. I mean, it goes back to to Aristotle's law of non-contradiction. You can't things that are simultaneously, things that are mutually contradictory cannot simultaneously be true. That's just a fact. And I think a lot of people need to examine that because people generally hold all sorts of different views, especially in a pluralistic country, many of which conflict with one another. So the question you have to ask is, what do you ultimately believe? Where is your ultimate devotion? Where does that lie? And in modern pluralistic countries, we just try to push that question off. And we say, no, you can believe all sorts of contradictory things and be sorts of all party groups. Just don't think too deeply about it. But that's not possible. And even a pope who many refer to as a liberal is pointing that out. Man, what a great clip that was. Now, hey, hold up. Ring that bell. Subscribe to the Michael Knowles YouTube channel. We'll see you next time.